All right, so this is going to be a triplex. Doesn't look like much yet. That is what you see there is 3 Rivarossi 080s. Now, the diameter on the wheel size is the same for a triplex that is a 28884. The 28882s have a bigger diameter. So I am basically making a Virginian. Except for I will not have 4 wheels in the back. I will have 2. Basically the same train. They look the same. But the drive wheels were a different size. They were smaller on the Virginian. I don't know, according to the specs that I found anyway. I know that MTH sells a Virginian that's actually an Erie. It doesn't have the 4 wheels in the 2 axles on the back, but mine is basically going to be the same. I don't have the right size wheels to go with an Erie, so this is what it is. That is the bottom shell is part of a Berkshire, and the front is part of a 080 Rivarossi. The shell, top of the shell, is both 2080s chopped in half, sectioned. This was spaced out. Now normally they would be round things that look like, I don't know, use your imagination, but they're 2 separate ones. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I might cut them in half and reshape them so they're separate. Right now I really don't care about that. I used a razor blade and took all the lines off of it, and then wet belt sanded it. I'll add my own. So that's sitting on a piece of 18-inch radius. This is the final drive. This gets hooked into this, and then it's a tender basically, which I haven't done yet. This is going to have a motor. This drive will have a motor, but this drive will not. I took the gear out. I cut the top of it off. It articulates, obviously. So that's what it looks like. I'll show you what I did here on the inside. Oh, I clipped the nose off here. This front here looks exactly like the Virginian and the Erie. So I cut it and spaced it out. I put a truck in there. I flattened it out where it's bent, where the screw goes in, for it to lengthen it. This has to be shaved down because the actual train doesn't have that. I can't take all of it off because it holds the wheel. And this is what the shell looks like on the inside. So that's sectioned in 3 spots. I had to add material and cut material. I had to cut the bottom of this because the cab is not as tall, because the piston needs to go under it. Now what you got here is a bunch of parts. You can see this is the back of a door. I needed a strong piece of plastic to mount in there. There is a tip of a spark plug that threads off underneath this, bonded to the train. This has a plastic piece bonded to the top of the transmission that's threaded. So the screw goes in there. There's springs underneath these, so they have a little bit of spring action. That's the motor. It barely makes an 18-inch radius. I will shave a little bit more of the shell off on the inside. Obviously, I have to strategically pack lead in it here, and this one here is not, the back half's not going to be a problem. So that's what she's looking like. The bottom of this has a tow bar that I bent, put a bend in it to shorten it. This piece here is got 3 pieces of shrink wrap on it, and it's just pressed into this, the big rivet that originally where the screw went through to hold the 080 together. That's glued in, that's not coming out. I belt sanded these down. This here is going to attach. Whoop. Yeah, almost had to start that all over again. Alright, so what are we doing here? Yeah, this needs to be warmed back down. Anyway. Excuse me. I'm going to have a stud coming out of that, coming from all the way from the back, and it's going to go on like this. And I am going to put a piece of spring wire in there, and I'm going to grind a notch in the stud, so once this snaps on, it can't come off, because you have to remember this is going to be pushing this, even though this has a motor. So it's going to be dual motors, one in the train, the locomotive itself, and one in the tender. This is what the train actually looks like. Hold on for a minute. I'm at work, not working, doing my own stuff. Here we go. Alright, so that's exactly how it's going to look. Well, not exactly because it's homemade, but very similar to this. So there'll be a drawbar or a tow bar in between right there where you see me, right below the 5 on the number. I have to add a little bit of the firebox and some more details that I had to chop off. And I still have to do the front. The front's going to be easy peasy Japanesey. I already have all the plastic pieces and stuff basically cut relatively to size, and then I'll shave them down as I go. So that's that. That's basically what I'm copying. That's the picture that I'm looking at to build this Frankenstein train. As you can see, there wasn't much of the plastic left, so I did do my little baking soda and crazy glue. It is incredibly strong, as long as you do it in layers and don't try to do it all at once. You actually have to use a pair of wire cutters to cut it, so it's pretty strong. Anyway, children won't be playing with it, so I'm not worried about it breaking. I gotta neaten this up a little bit, but yeah, so that's gonna go on there like that, and that's how she's gonna look. That's the profile. So she's coming along. You really can't see a lot of stuff. There isn't that much difference between this and this. If you look, mine actually might be a little bit closer. So anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. How's it coming? I started this project yesterday and worked until 2 o'clock this morning on it. Came back to work at 7, did my jobs that I had to do, and then while I was printing some wrap material for a customer, I decided to stop playing with this thing again. So there we go. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.